I think so. Is it okay? Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Hollywoodbets Super League festivals, coming to you live from the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium, week number 4 of the Hollywoodbets Super League Amplified. And we reach another province and another story to be told in this chapter of women's football. University of Pretoria against Copperbelt ladies is the first tale of the festival this weekend. Two familiar rivals, two ambitious sides, and this afternoon another chapter is ready to be written at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. This is the 7th meeting between these two since Copperbelt arrived in South Africa's top flight. History has largely belonged to Amatuks. Four previous victories, only one defeat and one draw. It is a fixture that has so often smiled in the striped generations, blue, white, and striped strip. And so we see it, the lineup of Copperbelt ladies. I think we'll start with that team sheet for you first. And there it is, then the fourth starting 11 chosen by Coach Tiwatsa Siale, and there's only one change made to the side. Tandi Rameri, who started with a 2-1 success over Stellenbosch, is relegated to the bench. In her place comes Rebukhile Ntungwa. Other than that, it is unchanged. Manganyi, Mashilo, Madlala, and Matlala will play almost in the back line, although I've seen Peledi Mashilo being used more in the midfield, so Skakane will be in that back line. Sifuka Namanyana in the midfield, and Yagupai, Khanwe, and Ntungwa up front. Now, interesting to see what they've done with Upeladi Mashilo in recent times. And there is the University of Pretoria team, and there is two changes notably made here, and that is Kanyisile Sokela, who was limping off in the 1-1 against Forte. She starts on the bench today, as well as the young Mulefe, Ritabile Mulefe, relegated to the bench. Don't see her even on the bench, so she's out, and in their place they are replaced by Tato Lituso, who came on as a substitute against Forte, who plays a double pivot with Ibanatim Sindo, and then you've also got Mazwewu coming into the 11. So Copperbelts come here with the wind at their backs after seeing Stellenbosch 2-1 last weekend, a victory that reminded everyone of the quality and resilience they possess. For Amatuks, meanwhile, they are also beginning to build momentum of their own. Victory over UWC was followed by a hard-earned point against the University of Forte last week when we're in Polokwane, suggesting a side growing stronger with every passing week. And that is what makes this contest so compelling. One team looking to prove last week's victory was more than the beginning of something. The other determined to show that consistency, not moments, is what defines genuine contenders. The numbers may favor the University of Pretoria, but numbers have never scored a goal, made a tackle, or won a football match. For 90 minutes, history becomes nothing more than a reference point, and the only story that matters is the one that these two teams are about to write before our very eyes. So, welcome everyone once again to Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Welcome to another afternoon of Hollywoodbets Super League Amplified Football as the Super Era takes center stage. The fourth festival and the first play on the cards is Copperbelt ladies and Amatuks that do battle. On this 3 o'clock kickoff, slightly running behind time here on African time this Friday afternoon. As our referee for today, Hlonpile Msezane looks to kick things off. She'll be assisted by Bongisa Zolobe Noditamsomi and Yanelisa Pagati. Azishege as Tuks take on Copperbelt in the fourth game of the Hollywoodbets Super League Amplified. It's Tuks that get the early momentum here. Welcome everyone to the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Absolute pleasure to be calling this action for you. My name is Tandum Chiako. You may have become accustomed to my voice in the Hollywoodbets Super League. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you from the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Here is early movement now by Tuks. Mazwewu sends a low delivery to the box, and Tabiseng Mazwewu is going to get it again here. She has a crack. She is from quite far out, says the former Richmond United defender. She's now a first-year student at the University of Pretoria. Tabiseng Mazwewu left the Northern Cape outlet door for Tuks. Made a couple of new signings at the beginning of this season. Mazwewu, one of them. They've got two ladies from Sundowns on loan, Kunjula Mali as well as Tato Litsuso. Copperbelt throw. Team that really knows how to grind out results. Really enjoyed watching them in that 9 o'clock kickoff last week at Polokwane. Tuks share it among themselves. This is Hutatso Manamela. Maklinana sends it up the field. That's a decent touch. Oh, she is under some pressure. Sbatle Ndlovu comes through back to recycle for the University of Pretoria. Good press here. And Lucia Khaunu is going to be a beneficiary of that. Here comes Tenyane Taufeta Petrol. She's all by herself. Khaunu has the shot. It's a cross cutter. Low driven attempt. Not a bad attempt early on here for Lucia Khaunu. But they fought back really hard at Copperbelt, getting that success against Stellenbosch, their second success of the campaign. Followed the 3-1 early on against Richmond United. They're a team that wherever they travel, they're going to give a fight. So you can bet that we're going to see some good football again this afternoon. Flicked on header once again. Tuks get the throw. Hoyesa Ritabile Mulefe not available today in the Tuks team. She is with the under-17 camp that will play the third round World Cup qualifier against Kenya tomorrow at the Lucas Masterpieces Muripe Stadium. So she's not available due to that. Ritabile Mulefe. You can catch that game on SABC Sport. We'll have that for you there. Patla early defending here. Interesting that game. Our under-17s looking to qualify for the first time since 2018. Kenya qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 2024. They were first Kenyan team to ever do so. It's a bit of interesting youth African women's football knowledge. Early on here in the game, side still feeling each other out. Manamela passes it at the feet of Yagupi, who's yet to find the scorer sheet this season. Yagupi dispossessed in the middle of the park by Litsuso. Now shed out wide. Good work by this Tuks side to use the width of the ground here. Of course, there are some big games this weekend here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Headline perhaps on Sunday by Chess Galaxy Richmond United at 3 o'clock. That will be the last game where the home side will play. But really excited as well for Sundowns UWC tomorrow afternoon. Patla. Maklinana. That is Matlala. Maklinana gets it back for Tuks. Throw for Tenyane, it's a Petrol. Not much to separate between these sides last season. In the head-to-head though, UP took 4 points from Copperbelt. As Lonpilem Cesane blows the way of Tuks. Still very early days here in this one. Patla playing the centre-back roles with Nugwanda Zondi today. Zondi signed from the University of the Free State. Nice bit of work on that wide channel now by Tuks as they stretch the ground. Sbatle Ndlovu picks up a head low. Driven cross by Ndlovu. Didn't quite find Mali or Ashane, who were entering into that smaller 6-yard box. Good momentum though by this UP side. Copperbelt recycle it. At the back they work it. You are to see these Copperbelt jersey numbers with the black and the yellow. But that is definitely Maputi Matlala playing on that left side, the former Ma-Indies defender. Now, Manamela, Polokwane born goalkeeper, 2018 and 19. She was the University of Limpopo goalkeeper of the year. As Manganyi, who scored a banger of a goal against Stellenbosch, sends it for a throw here for Tuks. Scored 5 goals themselves this campaign. Battling on the ground. Mashilo is there. Now out with it come Copperbelt. Tuks keeping the pressure alive here. Zondi. Gaunwe takes it on here. The former Durban ladies player. She was very involved in that late on goal by Ino from Stellenbosch. Here is the throw then on that far right side for Tuks. Some of our viewers watching asking, can we not watch the game on SABC 1? Well, the games that it's a shared coverage in the Hollywoodbets Super League this year. That's why we're able to bring all the games to you, because some games you'll find on stream and some you'll find on SABC 1 on linear. So this weekend, SABC 1, they've got TUT and Ramatlaotle. Tomorrow at 12, and then at 3 they've got UWC and Sundowns, and then on Sundays SABC have got Stellenbosch and Diepkloof, and then Richmond and Galaxy. So SABC have got the midday and the 3 o'clock games on the weekend, and all the other games you can find on the stream. So every game is live for you this year in the Super League Amplified. Phahla, nice little 1-2 in the middle of the park there, Phahla. Last time these sides met, it was a 2-0 success for the University of Pretoria. Pressure there by Yagupi. Yagupi with the press there with Gaunwe. Good playing out with it. Makinana on this left side. Keeps it in the field of play. Smahlendlovu with green room to run into. Now they're opening up this field here of the University of Pretoria. Mazweu gets it back, coming out on here. Big chance there it was for Ibanati Msindo running onto the ball there. She just can't get the contact that she needed. But incredible work here by Mazweu on the left side. Brilliant ball to cut it back, and Msindo, who was the player of the match in that draw against Forte, can't find the target. Best move of the game, best team move of the game. You've got to feel that. 9 minutes in, Tuks knocking on the door, perhaps with more intent here. So every game you can watch live this year. As Copperbelt recycle it and start it again. Here are Tuks that will come with it. Under the stewardship of Coach Busiso Temba this year. Away it goes the way of Lucia Gaunwe, the former Durban ladies player. And Copperbelt yet to really assert themselves in the game. These sides won the same amount of games last year. 10 games each, as we slowly approach the 10-minute mark as well. Away by Phahla. On the ground, it's won by the young Kacheni. Now Litsuso, the Sundowns player on loan. 2 on loan from Sundowns, Mali and Litsuso. Manganyi. Yagupi. Pressure by Makinana on Hlulani Manganyi, the 24-year-old. And Hlonpile Msezane blows the way of Copperbelt, ladies. It's outfits up at all, and quickly Coach Siale himself runs onto the pitch. I love this guy, Coach Siale. He's so passionate. Had a conversation with him at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium last week after their 2-1 success, and they're going to grind out as a result again here in a tough segment of the Super League. They're in the Super era. This will be the main segment next year, the top 8. And this is the biggest chance of the game so far for those that have joined our coverage late. We've got highlights as well. And Ibanathi Msindo just wide there. That's the biggest moment today. But I was telling you about the stream that these sides are in. It's got Sundowns, it's got Galaxy, UP, UWC, Stellenbosch, Diepkloof. They're the newcomers who are yet to win a game here. As Hlulani Manganyi continues to receive attention from the Copperbelt medic team. Looks like she got the bad end of that challenge. It also was involved. She also received some words. Mr. Jabu Tumisani, 6423. Putting my head on the chopping block a bit here and says, what are your predictions for this match, Mr. Commentator? Just a simple prediction. How do you see this game panning out? Well, Jabu, I can tell you that I can definitely see both sides going into it with everything they've got. You've got two teams that are riding the wave of momentum in the Super era. But judging how the first 12 minutes have gone, I'm going to go with a UP victory here. Not sure by the scoreline. Don't come at me at the end of the game. He asked me to put my head on the chopping block. The ball will run again, in the former under-17 Women's International. Mashilo sends it up the field. Can't get a touch there. Can Mali. Now this is Msindo. Good work in the middle of the park by Ibanathi Msindo. I genuinely believe that Ibanathi Msindo is one of the best central defensive midfielders we have in the country. She's played before at the Kusa team, the university sports team selected back in 2023 when Tuks won the USAs. Let's also, here she is again, Msindo. Wonder whether we will soon see her get a national call-up and be part of the South African women's team proper. Here is Zondi, another first-year student signed from the University of the Free State Sasol team. Of course, Fizu were at the playoffs 2 years ago. Patha sends it up. Not really asserting themselves in the game here are Copperbelts 13 minutes in. Let's also, perhaps you can share your predictions with me in the comment section. How you guys see this game panning out watching at home. You've had me express my thoughts. Perhaps you could tell me how you see this one going. Zondi. Feeling the leather here. Tucks. One back in the middle of the park by Namanyana and her midfielders. Copperbelt choose to play it back to Lady Munye, who's under lots of pressure there from Mali. The pressure hasn't subsided here for Tuks. They've got it back here, Mali, and there is the clearance. Manganyi tries to keep it in. She can't, unfortunately. The pressure not quite averted for Tsenyane. Taufetsa Petrol had their best season last year, finishing in the top 8 for the first time. Tato Letsuso. This is Ibanathi Msindo. Great work by Msindo. Smathindlovu. Now a chance to share it out wide. Good work here. Good attack developing here for Tuks. So there is the shot. It hasn't quite hit the target. Copperbelt with the goal kick. Well, Jabu Dumisani, what a man, he's got back to us already. He says, I see University running away with this one too. They are on the back foot for now, Zwelitin Stadium. And then the Super League will break for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Zimsindo lets the ball run again. Tando Patha ricochets it against the back of Fiona Namanyana. It's fallen now on that right side for UP. Here it comes to the box. Manwe was licking lips on the edge of that D-line now. Yagupi. 9 goals last year, yet to find her feet this season. Lucia Khaune! Too much on it by the former Durban Ladies player, but I've liked the look of Lucia Khaune since she's joined Copperbelt. Lively, always pressing, always a danger. Just feels like she's always got a rabbit in the hat and can always pull it out at any given moment, Lucia. Of course, Durban ladies relegated last season with Royal AM. 2 KZN teams relegated last year. Relegation this year will work differently. The team that finishes bottom of Super Rise and the team that finishes bottom of Super Era, both of them will drop to the provincial streams. So I guess for your newcomers, Deep Kloof, Stellenbosch, Ramatlaotle, and the like, the goal is simple. Don't finish last, but these guys won't be thinking about that. They want to thrive. And there is a beautiful ball over the top. Not a bad idea. Well, Football Edits has come into the picture and he says y'all are wrong. Copperbelt ladies will win. So love the different opinions in the comment section. That makes it a bit nice. Yeah, you swallowed the mic, commentator. Don't know. I hope my audio is not too loud. Anyway, here we go. Manganyi. Away she takes it. Is Manganyi. No real big chances for Copperbelt yet. But they do have a sting. Let's also. This is Manganyi. Copperbelt set piece, says Lonpilem Cezanne. Can they pose a danger from the dead ball? Nompelo Yagupi wastes no time, but immediately picks that ball up. Born in Valcom, Yagupi. Top goal scorer last season she was for Copperbelt, but then she then relinquishes the set piece duties and gives them to Maputi Matlala, another one of the wide backs, exciting on the wide channels. He's played at my Indies before. This looks dangerous for Copperbelt. Something about this looks like it could be challenging. Man-on-man marking is the methodology for Tuks. Here is Matlala, dings it. And perhaps dings it too much. Goal kick for Tuks. Well, you can see the idea. It just did not quite work out. Well, 0-0, 20 minutes into things here in the 4th Hollywoodbets Super League Amplified Festival. Nothing to split between Copperbelt and the University of Pretoria. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far. But after we're reaching the halfway juncture of the first half, it's 0-0. Round about this time, if we were go North America, Kabeba Shapaka hydration break. Yes, Msindo. Quite warm out in the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. The ladies would enjoy it. So wizardry stuff by Msindo in the middle of the park. She shared that one out wide. Menwe now working it. Good little interplay on that right side. And to Lady Munye, the recipient of it for Tinyan. It's off. It's a petrol. In the middle of the park, Tuks recover the ball. Pasha. Heard an interesting remark last week from Coach Mwakekana of First Touch Ladies, who perhaps you could give me your thoughts as well at home watching this. But he said the Super League is not a league anymore. He said it's a competition now. Smaller 14 games that you've got to play, and that you prepare every week as if you're playing a cup, as if you're playing a different opponent. So that's what he says First Touch are doing now. playing the Super League as if it's a competition and not a league. He was very adamant on that when we asked him in the press conference for SABC Sports after the success in Polokwane against City Lads. So I thought that was interesting, how he branded it a competition now and it's not a league. And I guess a part of me could understand where he was coming from. Anyway, here are Tucks. This is Phahla, Msindo, the puppeteer in the middle of the park. Good work as Zondi picks it up. Zondi into the middle of the park. Kacheni Ndlovu, cut out by Sifuka. Now that's not a bad touch by Namanyana. Out wide, they want to share it now to Copperbelt. Recovered by Mahlangu. I think it's Mazona who's on that other side. Manamela. Zondi. Tucks, of course, played in the USAs last year as well, where they unfortunately did not make it past the semi-finals. They went really far in that competition, but it does mean that they will play varsity football again in almost 2 months' time. That competition starts in August. Msindo. Nthabiseng Mazo picks it up in the middle of the park and over the center arc circle. Great ball. Ashani, can she get onto it? She had a goal against Forte. Ashani. Now cut back. Nice battle there between Matala and Ashani. And it is the Eastern Cape born Paula Siamtanda Ashani team to have made the foul there. You must check the games out on Sunday when Galaxy play here against Richmond United. They'll have the home township firstly here, and then they'll also have their classic brass band. Always lovely when women's football is taken to venues like this, where people really appreciate the football being there. Remember, Galaxy's men's team would fill this place out many a time last year. Here is Manganyi. Ibanatim Sindo is clipped in the middle of the park by Piladi Mashilo. It's interesting what they've done now with Piladi Mashilo. And I had the conversation with one of the other commentators for SABC Sport that I work with. But she's no longer playing as a flat back 4 player now. She can play as a 6. If you thought Mbogazi as a shot, Piladi Mashilo is the female Mbogazi. I'll tell you about it. This looks like a good move here. Tabiseng Mazeu is watched here by Manganyi, chooses to recycle. Mahlangu, that's not the idea she had in mind. Mazeu will pick it up. It's still available here for Tucks and away by Sifuka. Yabuyi, that's Yagupi who's back there defending. Pressure. And Tucks recycle. But Piladi Mashilo, she's got her shots as hard as Mbogazi does. She could break a Trionda ball as well. And I guess I'm really excited to see what they do with her and what her trajectory looks like in women's football. Jersey 14 for Copperbelt. She's also an under-17 women's international. Here it is now, Khaunwe. Recycled by the University of Pretoria. 0-0 at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. In the past, these sides have never played to a goalless draw before. Here is the diagonal pass. Just does not quite find. Mazweu is running onto it. Guys in the comment section having a good laugh about the hydration breaks. Obibete says, Tucks, we go. Let's grab a win. As I work it here, Tando Mashilo, you said. Yes. Piladi Mashilo. That is the young lady's name. Khaunwe. Good work here. Namanyan. Yagupi running onto it here. Good work by Patla. One of the players, Patla, one of the very few players who have settled into the Super League so quickly. It takes time for a player to adjust from playing in the provincial stream to playing Super League. But Patla is one of the players who, from when she left Sunflower and left KZN and came to Tuks, it felt like she had been rehearsing for years to play in the top flights of women's football. Now Yagupi was the target for that one. Bringing it down is Ntungwa, who's been quiet on that left side here for Copperbelt. And Ntungwa into the starting 11 today. The only change made, Tandi Rameri rested. Yagupi the target. Still good running here by Copperbelt. They try to bend it. Here's Namanyana for Gaunwe. Back to Manamela. Gaunwe still pressing here. Able to get it out. Good on her feet. Lovely on her feet. Here is Ibanatim Sindo. Ibanatim Sindo is dispossessed by Peladi here. There is the shot. And that is what I was telling you about. Good work by the youngster. She could even play at 8. I was saying 6. I gather how high she was pressing on Sindo. She could play at 8. Sifuka. Ntungwa. Sifuka picks her head up again. Yagupi is going. Rubber hitting the road now. Here comes Nompelo Yagupi, and brilliant defending by Tandogazi Makinana. One of the long serving players in this UP side. And she's made sure not to concede a throw even either there. Oh, Mazweu, stop it please. Brilliant work to send it up the field. Mashilo then returns it. There is the head by Ntungwa, accepted by Manamela. Like I said, they've never played to a goalless draw, these sides, before. Every single encounter, the 6 encounters in the past, have constantly produced a goal. Patla. Ashani getting a little bit deeper there to win the ball. Now out wide it goes. Goal kick, says the referee. Well, they lost some players themselves, Tuks, last year. I saw Mulatelo Kobos found a new home. She's now at first touch. Players like Mahotso, Mashishi, no longer at Tuks as well. And they welcomed a total of about 8 new players themselves. Yagupi turns, does Yagupi. Chabutumisani saying that the smoke creeping outside the stadium reminds him of the smoke in Bundesliga games. Although I won't lie, I'm sure Guti Gushani outside Lapa, Solomon Mahlangu, but half an hour of football has been played at the stadium. A third of the tie is done and dusted. It is 0-0 between these sides. Copperbelt's 4th at the moment on the Super Era. Tuks narrowly in 3rd just by goal difference. This is Lucia Kaunwe here. And Ntungwa gets a touch away by Zondi. Pressure here by Tanyan. It's off. It's a Petrol. Mashilo pressing. Oh, gracefully out of that press. That's how to leave a press 101. Great work on that right channel by Mamokena Menwes. Hit the ground on that right side as Ntungwa. UP carry on balling here. Ibanatim Sindo scans the parameters. Short pass by Msindo to Litsuso. And they've been dispossessed. They've been robbed of it here in the middle of the park. Namanyana. Out wide. Namanyana. Nompelo Yagupi. Yagupi against Makinana. Corner Copperbelt. Well, two players have stayed down. We had on the other side earlier, it looked like it was Ntungwa on this right side. I don't think players come up on that side. So Ntungwa still down. Corner for Copperbelt is ensuing. We're close to reaching half time here with 30 minutes on the clock. Maputi Matlala. Tungwa's made her way back up onto her feet, as we see there. It's off, it's a petrol. Can they produce something from the dead ball? It looks like it's going to be an in-swinger here. Organizing themselves defensively. Tucks, everyone picking up a man in the box. Tungwa lurking up and down. It's creating that distraction in the 6-yard box. So Sean Pilliam says, and he says, bring it. And here comes the Copperbelt in swinging ball. Nothing comes from the corner. Last season, there were only 2 points to split between these sides. They won the same amount of games. However, Tucks lost more games than Copperbelt, losing 12, and Copperbelt only lost 10. So their numbers last season, very, very, very familiar. All the same, Ashani picks it up in Copperbelt half. Nice little work there by Menwe. This is Zibanati Msindo. Hits it against Fiona Namanyana. Mali's also been up and down on that right channel. Playing with Mamukena Menwe. This is Menwe. Menwe, the former Nico Taurus player. Now Mali, the Sundowns lone prospects. Mali into the box. Kashani! Wide. It's whistled wide on that occasion by Tanda Kashani. Following some good work on that right side. And here is the replay for you again. It starts with Mali. Mali somehow gets it into the box. Kashani first time with the effort. Another big opportunity. And I would say perhaps the second best one of the game goes to Tucks again there, as Monye remains down. Game of the Super League live and give you slow-mos and highlights of the moments if you've joined our show late. And these have been all the moments for game of the Super League live and give you slow-mos and highlights of the moments if you've joined our show late. And these have been all the moments from the University of Pretoria. I thought this was a big chance when Tabiseng Mazwewu had just split this defense wide open, and Ibanati Msindo perhaps a little bit still cold and in the change room. The diesel car hadn't warmed up yet. But yes, as I was saying, that it's some incredible work that these AI Sport Africa guys are able to do to bring all the games, at least cover it at full extent, just like the professional men's football is. This year, for the first time, every game of the Super League live, every single game. So I think that's a step in the right direction in terms of the professionalization of the women's game. The Women's Africa Cup of Nations begins in 24 days' time. And Munye Teledi, well, I wonder what's causing this big, long delay here. She's been down for in excess of 2 minutes. Still down here, Sean Pilliam Cezane. Counting for every single one of these minutes. Remember, we've also got, no 6 o'clock game today. Check that for you quickly. I think the next one should be Sundowns. In fact, no, we have got a 6 o'clock kickoff today. First touch and JVW do battle at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium at 6, so you can catch that game again on our YouTube channel on the Hollywoodbets Super League page. So we have got a 6 o'clock game, and then tomorrow we start things with Forte and Ezemvelo. So you can catch every single game until the midday games tomorrow live on YouTube. So first touch, the Khoshikadi long trip from Limpopo to Mpumalanga against JVW. That'll be a big test. JVW haven't lost the game yet in the Super Rise section of the Super League. Remember, it's an 8-8 stream this year. So that should be a good one. I'd stick around if I was that for you. One of those David Goliath type of fights as Lady Muñez slowly makes her way back onto her feet. One of our viewers here saying special shout out to AI Sports Africa, and I agree, man. I couldn't agree anymore. So here we go. The ball will run. Copperbelt, move it. It's off. It's up. Yagupi. Here is Lucia Khaunwe now with it. Lucia Khaunwe entering into the final third year for Copperbelt. There is Nyamanyana. She looks for Ntungwa there. Ntungwa was in an offside role. 7 minutes away from the halftime break. Lots big stoppage for Lady Muñez, so I'm sure we'll have a little bit more than that. We should have a little bit more than that. Phahla. Spahle Ndlovu, former Durban ladies footballer, is Ndlovu. He's graduated as well at the University of Pretoria, has Ndlovu now. So pursuing postgraduate studies, still playing. Phenomenal player at number 10. But I think I like her more as an 8. I'm not sure if she's a 10. Playing at Central Camp today. Makunana. There is the turn by Mozweu. Her former team, Richmond United, will be in action in the main game. Well, the last game of the weekend against Galaxy. As Ashani turns. Ashani now lays it up in the box. This is Mali. Can Mali do something with it into the 18? Goes Mali. Mali still going, yeah. Cuts it back. Is there anyone there? It's Mashilo. It's a black and yellow shirt instead of a white one. And Lucia Khaunwe has picked it up from coming through deep. Makinana, the target, away by Phahla. Makinana. Mozweu tried to turn and keep it in play, and it inadvertently heads for a Copperbelt throw. 40 minutes are on the clock here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. We hope you have enjoyed it. No goals, but there have been moments. Mangani sends it up the field. This is Ntungwa. Can Ntungwa run onto it? Oh, she's almost tackled there towards the ground and wrestled. But Hlonpile Msezane of a different opinion here. Let's have a look at it again. Of that perspective, it looks like it's Ntungwa that's doing the rugby. She is wearing a scrum cap indeed, so perhaps confused about the sporting code, yeah. As Tuck send it up the field. Samtan and Khashani is going through the defenders, yeah. This is Khashani! Oh, it's wide, I don't know how! Oh, huge moment there for Samtan and Khashani. She gets through the defenders like a hot knife through butter. And then the final finish, lacking biggest opportunity of the game. Tucks can't score. Well, she's got 2 goals already this year. Ashani, she scored against UWC and she scored against Forte. Perhaps it is a counter-attack methodology here by Copperbelt to try to lure Tucks in with the short passes and then attack over the top with those type of balls. Here is Ntungwa. Oh, big challenge there by Phahla, and the referee doesn't like that challenge. They all go around now to question Hlonipile Msezane. She's kept the cards in her pocket here, so they can be thankful about that here. Tuks don't know if there's actually too much to be complained of on that occasion. Copperbelt players stayed down. If there's anyone that perhaps should be complaining, it's Coach Siale on the side. But he instead continues to give words through to Sifuka. And that was that big moment through the defenders. Kashani, goal, wide open, goal, gaping. And perhaps she was reading the back pages before she struck the ball. Lovely conditions out here in Mpumalanga. Love it when the football is here and the women's football here for the first time this year. After this, it goes to the Kings Wellington Stadium next weekend. And then WEFCON. But I think it's been better for the sides traveling-wise. Traveling to centralized locations, not traveling every single week. Now the coaches will cry about momentum. Guess you can never really win. Here is the dead ball here now for Copperbelt following that challenge. Lucky that Hlonipile Msezane has kept the cards in her pockets here. This is Mashilo. I was telling you about her shot. Look, they're letting her take the set pieces here. Mashilo goes for goal. She definitely had the power. The direction lacking. As we slowly approach half-time, perhaps let us know your half-time thoughts at home. What do you think about this one after 45 minutes? If I had an analyst in studio, I'd usually ask them for their half-time synopsis. Well, perhaps I'm asking you at home then. Give me your half-time synopsis. What have you made of this one as we approach the half-time break? Menwe battles away there, tries to get it through to Mali. Another player for Copperbelt to stay down. I think it's Ntungwa on that occasion. We're seeing another big stoppage here. The better chances have definitely fallen to Tuks. As we see the indication of 3 minutes added on by our fourth official today, Miss Yanelisa Pagati. So 3 minutes will start now. With a Copperbelt dead ball on the halfway chalk. Over the top! Oh, Yagubi can't direct it goalwards. It had evaded Manamela. Big opportunity, and sometimes you've just got to create that moment of chaos at the back. And that was almost putu of a moment for Tuks. Look, the bounce evades Manamela. Yagubi tried to recover it to maybe backheel it down back goalwards. That's a big moment. As Copperbelt gets a corner kick. It's jab after jab. These sides are not afraid of each other. Lots of movements in the 18. Here comes the dead ball. Yeah! There is a goal for Copperbelt! Oh, it's come from the set piece. It's brilliant work, and it looks like it's Lulani Manganyi. Another week, another goal, and Copperbelt draw blood first against Tuks. Brilliant work. The ball was perfect, inviting and begging to be hit. Incredible stuff. Copperbelt lead just before half-time. And those are the critical phases of the game. That is Tenyane Taufetsa Petrol, who scored goal number 7 of the Hollywoodbets Super League campaign. Tuks behind at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. 1-0. And suddenly now Siyamtanda Kashani will be thinking of that big opportunity that she had. Ndlovu. Mashilo. There's some confidence with the side now. Lucia Khaunwe into the 18 area! Side netting by Lucia Khaunwe. Oh, that was developing to be a good move, and suddenly you can feel the momentum shift here in this one. Nice little 1-2 on that left side. Khaunwe peels away and bends her run well. And the target was the final question mark as we slowly approach half time. Msindo. Phahla. I can tell you that Copperbelt have silenced the noise of Tuks with that goal. Mazweu. Maqinana. Nice 1-2 with the Tuso and Ndlovu. Ndlovu now makes way in the middle of the park. Good keeping it in there by Mazweu. Out by Copperbelt. This is Phahla. 3 minutes have lapsed here in terms of our clock. And that is that. Tlenbilem Cesane blows her halftime whistle. And the halftime story here between Copperbelt and Tuks is one that we couldn't have anticipated. After feeling lots of the leather, the University of Chichi of Pretoria had the better chances. The likes of Ibanati Msindo early on, and late on Siyamtanda Kashani couldn't quite do the job, and it was through the dead ball where Copperbelt ladies finally found their joy, and Tsenyane Fetsa Petrol head into the halftime break in the lead, courtesy of the head of Hlulani Manganyi, who scores her second goal of the Hollywoodbets Super League campaign. Well, that is the events of the first stanza. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back for more action from the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium in the second half. But at halftime, it is Copperbelt ladies 1, UP 0. shot Eddie. The radio person that calls us when we need to work. Yeah. Um, Well, welcome back to it, everyone. It is still this Hollywoodbets Super League amplified tie between Copperbelt Ladies and Tuks. The 25th match of the Hollywoodbets Super League, and Tuks have chosen to go to their substitute bench as a rebuttal to that late Hlulani Manganyi header in stoppage time of the first half to draw Copperbelt in the lead, and they're bringing on Sokela. Played against Forte. Unfortunately, did come off, like I said, right at the top of the show when I introduced the teams, that she had a bit of a niggle in Pulukwane. Nothing serious. She started on the bench. She'll get 45 minutes worth of football here. And she actually replaces a player who was playing in the back line, who is Ntabiseng Mazo. So that's not a like-for-like change, and that tells you that Spusi Sotemba is going an all-out attack here. And then for Copperbelt, they're bringing on Tandi Rameri, and Tungwa doesn't come back. So Tandi Rameri, who started the 2-1 success against Stellenbosch, now comes on. Tungwa not back either after the first half. So that is the team news for you as we kick things off once again here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. It is Tuks that look to respond here against this Copperbelt ladies side, who've only ever beaten them once before in the past, and that victory came back in July of 2024. So Copperbelt looking for their second success here against this side, and they are looking for their third victory of the season. I've confirmed those changes for you. Sokela coming on for Ntabiseng Mazo and Rameri for Tungwa on the Copperbelt side of things. Both sides going to their benches immediately at the halftime break. So let's see how the second half unfolds. Immediately Sokela receives it on the chest. She played at Durban Ladies last year. Into the 18. Oh, she goes down in the 18. Oh, says that looks away immediately. Sokela's frustrated. Trauma early on here in the beginning of the second half. Another look at that would perhaps indicate that that should be a penalty. My initial reaction, I thought Hlonpile Msezane was pointing to the spot. But here is Mali, and Mali is deemed to have made a foul there. But big moments at the beginning of the second half. Sokela goes down. Hlonpile Msezane shakes her head in denial and looks away. She was very close, I'll give that to her. But how about that for shift at the halftime in juncture? Sokela pressing away by Madlala. The header guides it the way of Namanyana. Menwe wins it back at the feet of Namanyana, then clears, does Mamukena. Menwe, prolific goal scorer. She knows how to play up and down that flank. Is Mamukena Menwe involved with this side as well when they won promotion? Tuks. Menwe. Pressure here by Tandi Rameri. 6 goals last season for Tandi Rameri. Sifuka looks to play the 1-2 with Namanyana. Mamukena Menwe wins it back. Here is Mahlangu. Some fans have been calling for a bit of that individual brilliance that she knows how to bring to her side. Is Mahlangu. Ashani, big moment for her at the end of the first half that she wasn't able to convert. Sokela with the press there on the defense, and the referee blows the way of Copperbelt for the challenge on Ebulenkosi. It's been under pressure for some time of the game here in the second half here from Sokela. Sifuka. Out wide by Khaunwe. Back it goes as Tuks recycle it. Ashani. Well, if you remember correctly, both these sides won promotion. to the Hollywoodbets Super League at the same time. Gaunwe, press here. There's the turn by Lucia Gaunwe. There is the foul adjudicated by our assistant on the near side on that occasion, Bongisa Ntsobole. But remember, these sides won promotion at the same time at the 2022 SAFA League National Championships. It was a 1-1 draw in the final, and Copperbelt secured that championship 3-2 on penalties, beating Tuks. Here is the slip. Namanyana picks it up. So both sides now, it is their 4th year in the Hollywoodbets Super League. Msindo receives out wide. Goes Ibanati Msindo. It's Mamukena Menwe on it here. Mali is available as an option. Menwe continues going now into the 18. Here is Mali. Mali! Not a bad attempt. It is diverted for the University of Pretoria's first corner of the game. Only coming 49 minutes later. Takes a touch. It looks like on Madlala. And fans in the comment section still going on about that penalty. Our ref, where was it or was it not? I guess we'll never know. Here is the first University of Pretoria cross. I think it should have been a penalty. Here is the corner. Yeah! Can it come from the corner? Yeah! Oh, so Kenna heads it down. Diverts back up. Goal kick. They're starting to create a bit of a menace up there in the second half here. UP, their better chances, many would have thought in that first half, had belonged to them. The first time these sides played each other in the Super League after that National Championships final, Tuks beats Copperbelt 7-0. They went on to then beat them 4 times thereafter. So actually, if we look at this history, Copperbelt have actually beaten Tuks twice. Once in the league and back in the 2022 National Playoff Finals on penalties. Can they get their 3rd ever success here against UP? Sokela looks to turn. Manganyi back defending. That is Yagupi. Skakane clears it away. Throw here for Tuks. Spatle Ndlovu. Ibanati Msindo. Looks like that takes a touch of a Copperbelt player. Yes. Hlonipile Msezane agrees. Throw for the striped generation. Into the box it goes. Sokela. Over the top. Cleared by Tebolenkosi. Msindo tried to hit it one time. Mali still interested. Looks like that's going to go out for a second corner here for Tuks. Camping in Copperbelt half in the early exchanges of the second period. It is Siamtanda Ashani. And she looks to deliver the outswinger. There's options that have come short here. Oh, and they've won it to Msindo. It's not the first time I see Tuks do this. They love these little training ground moves. Even against Forte. A little 1-2 where there's 2 options suddenly that come from the box. On themselves a free kick here. Dead ball around. I think it's touched the referee, and Msindo tries to rip it. Now Ndlovu. Sifuka hoofs it into the Solomon Mahlangu sky. Back by Maqinana. Low-driven cross here. Madlala can't do anything about that one. It's going to be a 3rd corner here for Tuks. What is it going to take for this side to finally breach Copperbelt? They've scored 15 goals in the past against this side. 16 if you take that SAFA final into account as well. They've got a third corner here. It is an outswinger. Can they get a goal? Sokela still fighting. All eyes on the referee here. Goal kick, says Tlonpile Msezane. Well, the back-to-back games in the Super League for the past 3 weeks would have allowed sides to gather a bit of rhythm, a bit of momentum in terms of playing. For some of these sides, they were going 3 months training without playing a game at the beginning of the year. But now there's some momentum. It's going to quieten down a bit during WAFCON and return late August. Lusha Kaune was in an offside role there. Nearly broke there for Tenyane. Outfits up petrol. And Lusha always coming from an offside role. Perhaps some players, you see them leave it when they're in that type of position. Vincent Matlokonolo says, I smell a draw. Tuks coming back, there's no other way. Lots of Tuks fans tuning into our stream here, and they believe that the Stripe generation can still come back here. But Copperbelts are turning. Tenyane Taufetsa Pedro. This is Lusha Kaunwe. It's received again by Sifuka. Out wide, they try to share it now. Tenyane. Tuks throw. 10 minutes into the second half. And objectively, Tuks have held more of the ball. But we said it in the first half that it doesn't appear as though holding the ball was in the plans for this Copperbelt side. Manwe. Mali. Down they play it here. Mamukena Manwe still with the press there. Copperbelt's throw. Like I said, Copperbelts have beaten this side once before in the past. It was a 2-1 success back in 2023. In the league, that is. They haven't beaten them in 4 previous outings. Taking their time here are Copperbelt. Mali. Nice touch there by Mali. Kaunwe tries to bring it down. Ndlovu tried to turn. Ding dong battle here. Here comes the press now. Yagupi and Kaunwe and Rameri pressing hard. They're a little bit frustrated as they lose that battle. Nice composure at the back by Maklinana. He says Mirashi's paraded Thunderbirds ladies in the past before. Maklinana, born in the Eastern Cape. Sokela receives it on the chest. It's fallen here for Matlala, who clears that one. Mamukena Manwe is the recipient on the right side here. There's the option to pass it. Show me your number. Namanyana Kaunwe. Is she offside? No, she wasn't. Perhaps she was looking for the flag, but that should have been 2-0 Copperbelt. She puts her hand on the head because that was a big opportunity. 2 big ones for Lusha Kaunwe. Tuks survive. They play out with it here. Oh my word, what a moment and spell of play that was. Pacing up and down the side is Dibatsa Siale. He never sits down. I've never seen him sit at half time. He's still frustrated. Look at the coach on the side. He's still clinging at that opportunity. It probably would have been game. Throw here for Tuks on that far side. Gaunwe, the former Durban Ladies player. There's space for Ibanatim Sindo to pick up the noise here for Tax Mali. Too much noise for Ibanatim Sindo on that occasion. Well, we've got to have a look at that moment by Copperbelt again. Lucia Gaunwe, first one here. Not good at the attempt. She gets a second bite at the cherry from Namanyana. After that, typical Fiona Namanyana, another turn. Oh, you got to take chances like that in the Hollywoodbets Super League or you will be punished. Change here for Tux. I'll let you know who's come on as soon as I get an indication. Maswazi Vilagazi in jersey 19 wasn't available last week. I didn't travel with the side to Polokwane. Now she comes on in the middle of the park. Oh, Vilagazi. Pressure here on Zondi. 60 minutes, 2/3 of this tie have gone. We've got a third to go. 30 minutes left. I hope you've enjoyed it thoroughly. It's been entertaining. And it so often is in the Hollywoodbets Super League Amplified. Remember, we've got another kickoff for you today, 6 o'clock. Where First Touch do battle with JVW. Sokela holds it up. Gaunwe. What's Amaya Gaunwe? Yeah, Lucia Gaunwe. Yeah, Rubber hitting the road. Oh, she's gone down in the box. Mamukena Menwe. That is terrific defending. Picked up by Sifuka. Maputi Matlala. Maputi Matlala again. They're going to start it again, Will Copperbelt. That is Manganyi. Sifuka in the middle of the park, who has one goal this season. Came against Richmond United. Yagupi's been dead, and I think she's still apologizing. There is Gaunwe. They've fallen at her feet here this afternoon. Well, some interesting insight coming through here from Black Panther is the greatest movie. Interesting name. SA football has a big finishing crisis across all teams, men's and women's sides. And I guess perhaps that statement proving to be true this afternoon with the finishing we've seen here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Namanyana. Mashilo was waiting to let it rip. Sifuka attempts the crack. Great touch by Msindo to bring it down. Now here come the Stripe generation. Counter-attack here. Oh, perhaps ran a little bit out of options there on that occasion. Did the young Maswazi Vilagazi. The counter was there. No need to rush it. Well, the next game for Copperbelt in the Super Era sees them pitted up against UWC. That should be a entertaining watch at the Kings Teen Stadium. They'll play the midday kickoff next week, Sunday. On here by Ndlovu. Out wide, Menwe. Msindo. Vilagazi. Ibanatim Msindo receives it, and Ibanatim Msindo can't pull the trigger. Oh, it was begging to be hit after such beautiful teka niga. Hamba niga. Nigo njengawe. Beautiful play here by the Stripe generation. That is Vilagazi. Pulls it back. And I gather Msindo wanted to bring it onto a more favored right foot because you can tell the touch on the left is a tad bit uncomfortable. And Spusiso Temba, the former assistant coach who's now at the helm, will be a frustrated man. So will Coach Sihale, to be honest. Both of these coaches, I'm sure when they head into the bus and finally recover and speak football again, the first thing will be, let's go practice shooting. Picked up. Oh, nice play in the middle of the park here. Out wide. It's come. Johnson! Oh, God couldn't quite hit it. The youngster running onto it on that occasion for Copperbelt. Oh, this defense was wide open on that occasion. Hannah left. And both of them have fallen to the left feet, the chances. Here is Vilagazi. Oh, it's like a basketball game now, this thing. Back into Ensokela there from the Msindo cross. Ashani pulls it back. Ndlovu! Cheeky. Incredibly cheeky, Ndlovu. She was looking for the chip. But this game is exciting now. This game has got us at the edge of our seats. Mahlangu. Jeez. That would have been the best goal she's ever scored. The ball runs again. Copperbelt have their stab at it. Lushak Kaunwe against Hlonpile Msezane. It's going to be a dead ball here for the Limpopo outlets. Giving a chance perhaps for UP to retreat. Out wide it's shared. That is lovely stuff. Nompelo Yagupi. Now a chance for Makinana on the left side here for the University of Pretoria. She strides with the ball. Sprinting is another option there up front. It was Ashani. Siamtanda reminds me a lot of Salume Kekana as well. Played in the side last year and played a similar role, but it's a delicately poised game, this. The tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. It's 1-0 to Copperbelt with about 25 minutes to go at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Iba Nati Msindo. Here's Vilagazi. Msindo. Vilagazi. She doesn't score many Ibanati, but when she does, they are big, important goals. It's stolen off Vilagazi. Lusha Kaunwe is going. Has she perhaps gone too soon? Zondi, the former UFS player. Out wide to Menwe. Menwe inside to Vilagazi. Nice. I've liked the look of the side here today, Tux. Can they score a goal, though? It's too much on that from Sindo to Menwe. The heads perhaps starting to drop. The questions being asked. Can they pull it out the fire, the Stripe generation? Hits the ground here. Goalkeeper's also gone to the ground. And a whole bunch of Copperbelt players go to warm up. As the shadow starts to fully shade this pitch here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. It's 1-0 to Copperbelt. Khaunwe receiving attention. So does the goalkeeper. And having a look at some of your thoughts again. Lots of people at home still backing Tux. Tux can go one-on-one with the player when it gets to the points. They always lose the ball. That is Ompemetse Khwale giving us his insight. Jabu Tumisani says Tux play like Bafana Bafana. And here are the moments of the first half. Let's remind you of the biggest chances and which have not gone Tux way. They've gone Copperbelt way and have fallen at the feet of Khaunwe. That was a huge one pulled by Unamanyana. Potential counter here. Vilagazi. No imagination on that occasion. Just hoofs it forward. But there's been lots of this tic-tac-toe. This was a big one. It falls at Msindo's weak foot on that occasion. Good job to get it off at the end. But you can see just even this highlight. It shows you that this could still go either way. In the past, Tuks have beaten Copperbelt 4 times. Copperbelt have beaten Tuks twice. Only once in the league. Only one game has ended in a draw. That was a 1-1 last year. Perhaps this one could still have a 1-1 draw on the cards. You see lots of Copperbelt players warming up. Goalkeeper played the last game against Galaxy. You may just see her come on if Monye is unable to continue. Looks like she's back up on her feet. And there is the goal. Let's remind you, if you've joined our coverage late, Hlulani Manganyi, second goal in the campaign. Brilliant corner. Brilliant header. That is how Tinyan, it's how Feta Petrol have done it. And now, Koscielny, I'm sure he just wants to pack his bags. Pack his bags, hit the N1, head back home. Another change for Tuks. I'll tell you who has come on for who. Last year, Copperbelt, remember, had their best season in the Hollywoodbets Super League, finishing in the top 8 for the first time. Winning 10 games, drawing 10, losing 10. And runs again here for the Whites. Maqinana. Ashani. Ndlovu has it stolen off her by Sifuka, and then she then pulls Sifuka back. Khanpile Msezane hasn't gone into her referee's book yet here. Has our referee today. Less than 20 minutes left on the clock. Header away. Can perhaps only land at Copperbelt feet, and it does. Thandi Rameri inside and out. Utuzovula Kantuzovala. Menwe goes with her. She says, if you're going, I'm packing my bag and I'm coming along with you. Gaunwe. Ndlovu. Msindo. Sifuka picks it up. Shade out wide for Copperbelt. Can they hold on? This is Ndlovu. Sokela. Links up with Ndlovu. Option is up front for Ndlovu. Mamukena Menwe gets it. Mamukena Menwe spots the diagonal to Shamtanda. Vilakazi with a heavy touch and away by Maputi Matlala. Pressure not quite fully cleared as Ibanati Msindo toys with it in the middle of the park. Here is Msindo. Delightful ball by Msindo. Even better touch. Menwe Vilakazi. Sifuka away. Ibanati Msindo hits it. No way through. Stubborn Copperbelt defense. I've seen the side hold to the likes of Sundowns last year, to the likes of JVW, Tuks, UWC. For Tuks, their best season came in 2023, their first season in the Super League, where they finished 6th and won more than half their games, 16 from 30 played. They get corner number 4 here now. Ashani is out, swinging ball! Away it goes. Msindo's going to pick it up in the outside. Sends it back in, does Ibanati, and nothing comes of it there. Incredible game we've got here on our hands. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been thoroughly entertaining calling this one for you. And we've got a real end-to-end game between these two sides. Copperbelt, remember this season, have beaten Richmond and they have beaten Stellenbosch. They haven't kept a clean sheet though this year. That's been one of their biggest Achilles heels. Can they keep their first one here today? Msindo. Vilakazi. This is good work here as they shade out wide to Qashani, the goal scorer, doing lots of defending. Happy to apply the mid to low block as Coach Siale. Defense splitting pass, but William Kosi. Oh, that is so clever. That is so clever. And they've just frustrated this Tuck side here, looking to beat them in the Super League for the second time ever. Remember, we've still got First Touch and JVW at 6 o'clock for you live on the Hollywoodbets Super League YouTube page. So please check that out. As the ball rolls, Vilagazi. Tucks feeling this leather here. Msindo, nice 1-2, no Vilagazi. Msindo, straight down the throat of Munye, who's going to milk this moment. We've got a quarter of 1 hour to go at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Hope you've enjoyed it. The Tucks have finished in the Super League 6, 8, and 9. For Copperbelt, it's been 12, 12, 8. So Tucks have always been in the top 10. By those numbers, Tucks have been a better side than Copper League since these teams were promoted both at the same time back in 2022. It's picked up here in the midfield. Here it comes the way of Qashani. Siamtanda Qashani into the box. Here down to the box it goes. Oh, there's no one there. Manganyi clears it. Is it a corner? Yeah, goal kick, I think, says the referee. Oh, my word. What is it going to take today for Tucks to score? Goal kick here for Copperbelt. Some time wasting. They're milking every single moment of it here. And Kunpilem Sezane says, I'm not having any of it anymore. The next one, and I will be forced to go into my book. And you've got to, you've got to have sympathy to the ref. She's let the game run here today. Rameri. Lusha Khanwe, yeah. Good defending by it was Menwe. Vilagazi. Look at Ventando. Patla is Glovu. And the Patla also adding another attack-wise. Ashani sends it to the box here. It lands. Okela. Another attempt. Oh, look at the frustration on the Tucks players. It was, in fact, Menwe there sending it for Qashani in the box. My apologies. Foul for Sokela. And they're a little bit frustrated there, Tucks, because Copperbelt have had a player that stayed down. And they feel that there's a little bit entering into the realm of what some of the Moroccan teams do so well. Eating at the time. Minutes to go in the Super Era this weekend. We've also got UWC Mamelodi Sundowns, which is the big game. I think that's my pick of the weekend in terms of biggest games. UWC Sundowns, that'll be at 3 o'clock tomorrow on SABC 1. We've also got Stellenbosch Deep Kloof and TS Galaxy Richmond United, another big one. Ashani gets it. Eshsan, what a vala by Ashani. This isn't Ndlovu. Ndlovu out wide. Menwe is there, playing a bit of a higher role now. Is everyone in this taxi? Menwe, one of them. Menwe's cross sails over all the heads in the box. And is that how the cookie crumbles? Judging by the World Cup games we've seen, no, this is far from over. I saw something really funny on my social media today where it said African teams if the World Cup ended at 80 minutes, and it was African teams with like a cabinet of 50 World Cups. But games are played till 90, so there's lots of time here still to go. 11 minutes on the clock, and we could still see lots of drama here. Here is Ndlovu. Ndlovu couldn't quite let it release it as she wanted. She had a beautiful one last year against City lads like that. One of those that fall, and she really knows how to let them rip. Is Mahlangu Ndlovu. That time she gets it from Sindo, and the contact not there. So I've told you Copperbelt's next game. It's a game against UWC before the WAFCON break. And then for their opponents today, UP, they've got Diepkloof ladies. So a chance there for points, but they'll be thinking more importantly about the opportunities they've had here today as Namanyana works it in the middle of the park. Sokela accepts it on the chest. That is Mamukena Manwe overlapping on that right side. Good work here by the striker playing deeper. She's beaten another one as Sokela. Sokela wants to sell a third. And perhaps she went and overdid it there. Goal kick for Copperbelt. 10 minutes to go. Now look at that. 1, 2. And cross it. Look at the amount of white shirts lining up in the box. There were 5. And that's what Imanatim Sindo so frustrated about on the edge of that 18 area. Let's share it. We're here. So for UP, it's Diepkloof next. And for Copperbelt, it's UWC. But say the result remains as it is. It would take Copperbelt to 9 points with 4 games being played. I can tell you Coach Siyale will be the most thrilled man if that is to happen. They'll go to 9. They'll be level on points temporarily with Sundowns. And they'll be inside the top 3. Flags come up here against Lucia Gaunwe. And they'll be inside the top 2 teams in the super era of the amplified Hollywoodbets Super League. I tell you what, that is an equally commendable prize to fight for here if they can hold on. Maqinana, Manwe, Sifuka gets rid of it. Kitibang Tibang. Tibang Tibang is the name of the game here for Copperbelt in the remaining 8 minutes. Maqinana. Lack of imagination as the time draws here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium in the 25th match of the Hollywoodbets Super League. We've seen a total of 79 goals scored in the Super League. Can we get goal number 80 still here in this game? Copperbelt with the set piece in their own half. For Tucks, a loss keeps them at 6 points with all the other games to play this weekend. Has fallen here on the bye for Namanyana. Couldn't quite do anything with it. As the time continues to go, the frustration mounts for Sbusiso Temba and his ladies and his troops. Anele Sokela on our stream says the referee is doing Tucks dirty, to be honest. Frustrated, yeah. Some of the supporters watching as Manwe gets it. Vilagazi there. Here is the cross now. It's going to fall from Sindo. She can't hit it with clean contact. Vilagazi. Oh, nice work by Vilagazi. Vilagazi shoots. And the shot is sedate. It's a tame effort at Lady Munye, who's on course here for her first clean sheet of the season. Msindo can't hit it one time. And I was having the conversation with one of our commentators. It was really good work. I'll tell you about that shortly. With Vilakazi earlier there to bring it back and then have the shot. On the inside, Rameri. That's all that's missing in Msindo's game. A big goal and that ability to hit it one time. That's what will take her to the Colossa Piana level. Because she is at that level. I believe it. Msindo is at that level. She is just missing that. Remember that Jessica Wade goal versus Sundowns? That's all that Msindo needs in her CV right now to just take it to the next level. That could have been it. Anyway, 5 minutes to go here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. I think referees don't allow for another change to be made. I'll let you know where it looks like it is a Copperbelt change. Last throw of the dice for Coach Siale. I don't imagine this will be an offensive change, given how he's played the second half. Goal coming late on in the first half. If you've joined our coverage of this Hollywoodbets Super League game late, coming through from Hlulani Manganyi at the end of a corner. And it is Dineo Mfati that comes on, jersey number 23. Mfati's got 2 goals already this campaign, one against Richmond. And she was also the only one on a scorer sheet in a 4-1 loss to TS Galaxy at Tux. As we confirm the score for you with 5 minutes to go, Monye showing that she's comfortable on her feet. Kitsenyane, Taufeta Petrol, that are in the lead here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium with 5 minutes to go in the 25th game of the Super League Amplified. Up it's gone. There's the chase. And looking to beat the side for the second time ever in league football. Vilakazi. Matlala. Toothed up. The way of Sokela. Decent touch by Sokela. First touch there to bring it back and down. But these guys are playing and defending for their lives now. Copperbelt. Last year they won 10 games. They're looking for their 3rd victory here. Remember, it's less games this year. It's only 14 fixtures. As a referee just gets some words through. Yep. Coach Siale also involved. Not sure what's happening exactly there as Patla brings it back in. It ricochets off another black and yellow shirt. It falls for Vilakazi. Oh! She's hit the bar. Ashani still got it here. Ndlovu switches it. Ndlovu headed away to avert the danger. Brilliant intervention by Kanyisiles Kakane. There was Vilakazi. There was Ndlovu. Big moments here for the Stripe generation. They've got a corner out of picture, but for now, let's have a look at this. Ndlovu and the bar is Lady Munye's best friend. Here comes their 5th corner, lining up with the numbers, and Nana at the back post can't direct her header towards the goal. But there isn't Ndlovu. There is Vilakazi, there is Kashani, there is still belief in this University of Pretoria side. With just 2 minutes left of regulated time, we'll then enter into the referee's injury and stoppage time. As over the top it's played, Sokela the target, who is caught in an offside role on that occasion. You've just got to appreciate the fight of Copperbelt. That's why they are one of the best teams in the Super League. And their goal is simple. Finish top 4, remain in the Super era, and battle against the best next year. Vilakazi. Shared again as Manwe tries to put Msindo into the thick of things here, who's quieted down in this past 5 minutes. Rameri, good turn. Now Fati lets it run. Good work as she gets the communication from her coach there. I think this is how this result may go down in history. We've still got stoppage time to go, and I can tell you that Yanelisa Pagati is preparing to add lots of it. 4 minutes. If you can see the referee's board there, the referee's assistant board on the side, is the amount of extra time we're going to have here. So this game is not completely done just yet. They've played to one previous 1-1 draw that was last year, these sides. But Copperbelt won't be thinking about a draw. They'll be thinking about the entire complement of points to take back home. There's Yanelisa Pagati's electronic board, and it indicates to us that we will have 4 minutes. Fiona Namanyana had the late goal last time to equalize for Copperbelt in a 1-1 against Tuks in that draw last year, but she scored in the 83rd minute. They've never seen a late 90s equalizer between these sides in the Super League before. Copperbelt set piece. Fiona Namanyana on top of it. Not many numbers committed here. They're just going to let her have a shot. And that tells you that Coach Siale is just, for lack of a better description, quote unquote, perhaps parking the bus, savor the result. But that's what any professional team would do when you have a 1-goal slender advantage. Tuks have won a corner here. It's corner number 6 here for the striped generation as they continue to knock, as they continue to believe that they'll get an equalizer. Lots of numbers in the box. Here comes the delivery. Oh! Big move there by Taledi to avert it far. They're still camping. They're still set up shop here in this half. We see it again, perhaps going for goal from the corner. But out of picture, there's more action. It's Maqinana. Over the top. And here you'll get to see that corner again. Incredible. I thought this could have been something. I thought it was something. I thought there could have been a touch by Sokela. Dive at it. Throw yourself into the pool. Or something. She didn't. And there's 2 minutes of the referees added time. We've already had 2 minutes played. So it means we have just 2 more minutes to go here. Copperbelt holding on for their very second success against Tuks in the top flight. Msindo. Patha. Out wide, it's shared. There's no one there. This is Dineo Mfati. A minute to go for Copperbelt to hold. For Tuks to perhaps snatch it at the death. Snatch an equalizer. Snatch a point. Take a point and run back to Hatfield. They've got their foot on the gas here. Mamokena Manwe. Everyone forward. Every white shirt has been committed now. Path out 2. Imagine that's the centre back there that's making himself available. Flicked on header by Vilakazi. Vilakazi wants to get it again, although Copperbelt think it's touched her hand, and Hlonpile Msezane says, I agree. And that may just be that. With 30 seconds to go, they won't be in a rush. Ashani heading over to try and speed them up at taking things. 7th ever meeting between these sides. UP Tuks have beaten Copperbelt 4 times before. Copperbelt only one previous time in the league. Holding on here for their 3rd victory of the season and 2nd ever success against Tuks. Vilakazi. And sometimes in football, when it's just not your day, it's just not your day. And perhaps it just hasn't been the University of Pretoria's day here today. Menwe sends it forward as Menwe. Sokela away by Copperbelt as they look at the referee for the whistle. One final throw of the dice here for Tux. Manamela sends it forward. There is the cannon. Oh, and it may fall, yeah! We've seen one late goal in the Super League. Zoe October against Galaxy. I don't think we're going to see an October moment here today. Menwe. Well, it was Manamela there that sent it up. Nearly fell. And like I said, sometimes when it's just not your day, it just won't fall. Players stay down. Time has essentially gone up. Our 4 minutes of the referee's time has gone. Coach Siale out of picture, praying, pacing up and down the sideline. I think this case is going to be the way this one goes down in the history books. Copperbelt take their time to restart things here. All eyes on Tlonpile Msezane. Let's play, run on a little bit longer here. Haven't seen so much at a time in some time in the women's game, if at all. Played down now the way of Mfati. Copperbelt with a rare attack here in the second half. Don't know how many times I've seen them in this part of the field in the final third. And now they may be wide open at the back. Here is Imanati Msindo that tries to send one final effort. Sokela turns. It's a brilliant turn, but she's well washed, remains strong as Sokela, and she's the one to make the foul. The play goes on here. Don't beat him, says Anne puts whistle to mouth. We're going to see it again. Make of that what you will, but it does appear as though Sokela with the contact down, and still this game is not over. Oh my word, we're heading towards 6 minutes now of football. Ebolonkosi Madala looking for clean sheet number 1. They say remain strong. We're almost there. Tsenyane, Tsaufetsa Petrol on course for their second victory of the season. Second victory against Tux and third victory of the Hollywoodbets Super League amplified. It's Copperbelt ladies that come to the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium and snatch 3 points and run away with them back to Polokwane. A goal late in the first half is the difference. Lulani Manganyi's head from the corner separates the two sides on the day, and the grit, resilience of Copperbelt ladies suffices here to keep the striped generation at length, who huffed and puffed, but it just didn't prove to be their day today as they suffer another loss in the Hollywoodbets Super League amplified. Loss number 2 for Tux. It's victory number 3 for Copperbelt ladies at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium, and that is how match number 25 of the Hollywoodbets Super League ends. It's 1 Copperbelt, 0 Tux. A classical defensive display from Coach Siale and her troops. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been a pleasure calling this action for you. My name is Tando Mchiako, and we will meet again for the Hollywoodbets Super League. But for now, at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium, it is 1 Copperbelt, 0 Tux, as I think they're awarding the player of the match there to Sifuka after a brilliant effort. Remember, we've got First Touch and JVW at 6 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. Siyazwakala. Danko.